Okay, Diary of a Channel, episode 4. Dragons are everywhere. So I decided to pull some cards for this one. Fire Dragon burns up the lower energies around you. Yes, I will take that. That is happening. I have whole thought structures and belief systems burning down to the ground right now about what I thought was possible in the spiritual realms. Yellow Dragon opens you to higher learning and wisdom. Okay, yes, this is key as well. And if you're watching these videos, there's no coincidence, right? You're meant to see this. You're meant to receive these messages. So it's happening to all of us who seem to be in this like co-creation of the new earth space. So yeah, let those lower energies burn away and let the higher realms of wisdom and channeled information expand, because ultimately we're always channeling 100% of the time. So dragons, I think I mentioned it in episode 1. It's been some months ago now, but I was out on my dock. I was like meditating, but my eyes were open, and a dragon came up out of the water with my eyes open, put my hands to its head, touched cheek to cheek, and said, I have missed you so much. And then 4 other dragons, I just felt them awaken in different parts of the world. And since I've been having dragons like all the time, like every day. Dragon energy, dragon energy, dragon energy is so present. Other people are posting things about dragons and talking about dragons and all the things. And even on Easter, my boyfriend went to the store to get mustard, and he came back and he said, Jolie, there's a dead iguana on your driveway, and she died on the driveway, and she was, giving birth to some eggs. And yeah, so I went and did that. So what's weird though about Christmas, Easter Day, is I was just, because the egg, like the cosmic egg, is just like so potent and powerful. And so like Easter is like a holiday that people like kind of forget the potency of, and Ostara, and like just the magic and the old ancient connection to this holiday. And like the egg is like, oh my gosh, abundance, birth, like just so incredible, like the power and the symbolism of an egg. So I was, for whatever reason, thinking about dragon eggs all morning. I've even bought eggs in the past for my kids that had like dragons in them and these sort of things. So it was just kind of wild that I was thinking about dragon eggs. Like I even saved a photo on my phone of dragon eggs. And then when my boyfriend said that, like he was only gone for 5 minutes. I mean, he just went to a gas station to get mustard and came back. And she wasn't there when he left, and she was passed when he came back. So I, of course, went down there and like blessed her and moved her and laid her to rest. But when I channeled on that, it was shared with me that she chose my driveway as a place to uh, release her essence back into spirit, and that the eggs, because there was one away from her, and there was like 1 or 2 that were like in the process of being released. And I hope this isn't too graphic. Like one of the eggs had something red connected to it. So I don't know the anatomy of an iguana and why that took her life, but the symbol and why it happened to me was unrealized dreams, right? Oh, see, I'm feeling emotional. They were like, she was giving this to you as a gift so that you would honor and witness her passing, and to remind you to make sure that you are living to your fullest, that you are fully embodying all of your dreams, all of your desires, all of your aspirations, because we can. We have that right on this earth plane. So dragons, 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 dragons. I have a dragon past life. I figured out that my boyfriend and one of my children are very connected to dragon lineages. It's just wild. So more on that soon. I feel like I need to do a whole thing on dragons, and I plan to actually put out a quantum activation and breath work workshop on Zoom and that'll be live, but the recording will be available for anyone who can't make the actual date and time. So keep an eye out for that, because these activations are amazing. You go on like a guided mystical journey, you receive activations. My voice is activating, the breath work takes you into alternate states of reality. You get to like literally have visceral, real experiences with dragons on these journeys. So take, not take, be on the lookout for that. So this morning I was feeling all kinds of wonky. If you saw episode 3, I'm like crying and have my orange glasses on. I had a day yesterday. I was just like in grief most of the day. And today I feel great, but this morning, oh man, like I didn't want to leave my house. So I had a private session that I just got home from with about 15 people who were here in Key West to celebrate someone in their group's 25th wedding anniversary. And so they were all just kind of like friends and knew each other. So just getting ready to go down there, oh my gosh, I just felt so jittery. I just felt so like unsure of like who I am. I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm in such a crazy state. What if I get down there and I just act like weird and crazy and like forget my words? You know, even though I've been teaching yoga for 10 years, I am in a state. And I even said to my boyfriend, I was like, geez, like he has a full day. He's a massage therapist, you know, he does all these things and he has a full day. And I was like, gosh, I feel kind of bad saying this, but like I feel so taxed, you know, physically just thinking about going and doing one session for 1 hour. And he's like, well, baby, you got a lot that you're integrating. And I'm like, yeah, I have a lot that I am integrating. And, you know, I went down there and 2 people showed up ridiculously early, and I was confused at first. I was like, you're here for what? But like as soon as I got past that, I was fine. I was golden. I was in one of the best moods ever. And these beautiful people from Wisconsin were just so kind, so caring, and I just felt so grounded and just enjoyed teaching them that class so much. So that just set me straight. I just like needed that. I needed to like get out of the house. I needed to move. I needed to be with like just kind, wonderful people. And I actually want to share with you what came up for me through that when I channeled. Um, because if you're watching this video, you too are a soul activator. Some of you are part of my soul groups, and you probably already know there's this group of 300 that are co-creating the new earth. I mean, not just us, but like they have specific functions and like anchoring light codes and all the things. And then there's this group of 2000. And when you kind of get into like the spiritually famous people, sometimes they're part of the 300, part of the 2000, and then there's a group of 144,000. And that's a whole story in itself. And none of these people are more special. Okay, like no soul on this planet is more special. Everything is part of the divine plan, even when people are doing wrong things. But sometimes people do get caught up in wrong things and deviate off the path and go deep into like some serious karmic issues, like to the point where someone that I was recently connected with, and I don't want to give too many details about that, but somebody I was recently connected with, I had to just, you know, completely let them go out of my life. And about a year ago, I had a really vivid image where it was a vision, and I was in front of the Galactic Council, and I was holding this person's hand, and they said, keep this person close to you, you know, protect them, keep your eye on them, help them, support them, da 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 da. And I was like, okay. And so I trusted that. And then some time went by and we were doing some work together, and it ended up not being, you know, a good connection at all. In fact, very toxic and, you know, just not good at all. And so I went back to the council. You know, this was last February. So it's been like a year and 3 months when I had to just like cut everything off with this person. And I went back to the council and I was like, what the heck? Like, I had this vision. You told me to keep this person close, to help them, to protect them. And this person is like not a good person. And what was that about? And I've always known that I was like I call myself a stop sign. I mean, it's more than that, but I'm kind of just like that person, like star seeds and people who are supposed to be doing more spiritual, mystical work. When they bump into me, I just know that I activate them. I didn't have that word until some months ago when I started creating my quantum activation trainings, which are amazing, by the way. Anyone can take them if you have any desire to take other people through activation journeys. You don't need any past experience, but it's also great for like yoga teachers and meditation teachers and anybody in the esoteric realms or hypnosis realms. They're so fun too. And it's actually an open-eyed journey where you're taking them through stuff and you're teaching them how to connect to their higher divine self all the time, that their self is always there, but we just don't realize it, or we disconnect it, or we accidentally think that it's separate. But anyway, um, why did I bring that up? Oh, the word activation has come into my sphere quite a few months ago. I don't know exactly when, but I didn't have that word, but I just knew I was an activator, but I didn't have that word. So I used to call myself a stop sign. Like I was just kind of like somebody that spiritual people bumped into, and it just kind of like ignited their journey. So I've known that for a really long time. So I go back to the council and I'm like, what is this about? Like I was doubting. I was doubting my visions. I was doubting my ability to channel because I was like, I must have gotten this wrong. I must have made that up. Um, so let me digress. It's the same story, but what happened is then I put someone I know really well into quantum hypnosis. And this was probably a month ago now. And it's not okay for me to ask personal questions or questions that I want answers to without permission from that client, because it's their time and they've paid for this session. And that's just kind of like not cool to do. But she started channeling the Galactic Council. She is someone close to me who's part of this like 300 soul group. And they started talking to me and like telling, I was like, okay, like, and I'm just like, is it okay if I like ask these questions about these soul groups and what's going on? And they're like, yes. And they had me like going through names. I was like, is this person part of the 300? Is this person part of the 300? And then I'd start to run out of names, and they were just like, we'll wait here for you, Jolie, while you root and ground and whatever they said. Like I don't remember, but it was so cute. They were so patient. Like even though I've been doing quantum hypnosis for years, sometimes I still have fear that if there's too much silence for too long, maybe it'll go away. And that never happens. But it was just so interesting. And so I asked about this person. I said, what was going on with this person? You know, I had I had a vision. I had a vision. You told me to keep them close, to protect them, to help them. And that turned toxic. I mean, I about had a nervous breakdown. It was so bad. And so when it was time, so I'm going to circle back to this, but when it was time and I had to sit with this person and I had to say, it's over, like, I don't want to see you or speak to you again, they had told me to deliver a message. And so I said, like, it was super uncomfortable, super awkward. I was just going through the necessary steps, that I was asked to go through, like professionally. And I said, this is awkward, this is uncomfortable. And I have a message for you from the Galactic Council. And, they tell me to do something. I think that that's important, but I don't know if you want to hear it. And this person said, oh no, I love your channeled messages. They always are on point. They are always spot on, all this. And I said, okay, here goes. The Galactic Council said that you are in danger. They want me to tell you that you are off track, that you are off course, and that you can't do what you've been doing and you need to shift and change dramatically because you are actually in danger. And this person flipped out. I'm talking about a temper tantrum hissy fit, like all at once, just total lost it, like screaming, crying, I'm not like harming anyone, and da da da, like crazy, crazy. And I'm just like, okay, well, like you gotta go. It's over, out. And so when I was in this quantum hypnosis, I was like, what was that about? Like, what the heck? Like, you gave me this, this like vision. I like worked with this person, and like, why would you send me somebody like that? I'm in my 40s. Haven't I learned my lessons and let go of like attracting the crazies? And they said, so first of all, they said in the hypnosis session, they said, well, that person is going to turn into space dust. And I thought that was like pretty horrific because I don't think that they're necessarily evil. And I was like, really? Space dust? Like, yeah, yeah, they'll turn into space dust, and even that has its place. So I'm like, oh, okay. But again, it's a quantum hypnosis training session. It's a quantum hypnosis session. I do quantum hypnosis trainings as well. It's not out yet, but it's almost complete. But it was the quantum hypnosis session, and so there was just so much going on, like that wasn't something to dwell on, right? But what they said at that time is they're like, were a last effort to try to help get this person back on path. And so then later, I channeled on it, and it just went a little bit deeper. They're like, it's not like they're actually turning into space dust, but this person has had so much like negativity, excuse me, for lack of a better word, that you were a last ditch effort to, like, they didn't say the words save their soul, because it's not I'm not saving souls, right? Like, not exactly, but they were just like, you were a last effort to try to get this person back into the right path, and that person had the opportunity in your energy to be activated, to activate and move into the higher realms, into love and right light, and they chose not to. And so that person's soul will start to be dismantled. This soul is so convoluted, so messed up, that it will have to be deconstructed. And that's why when it came through your client, it said space dust. So I was like, wow, that is wild. And let me tell you, I've been doing this quantum hypnosis for over 3 years now. I mean, people channel like all kinds of stuff, and it's like, they can't make that up, right? Like, them. I put my kids into these hypnoses. The most amazing things come out. But anyway, I feel like there was a reason I was going through that, and I'm not sure what else to say, but I just feel really inspired to keep making these videos, because when I knew I wanted to channel, which was over 10 years ago, and I heard about Abraham Hicks and Bashar, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. I just couldn't really find anywhere how to do that. Like, I have the Seth books, I've like watched tons of videos. I have a Ouija board, and I've been doing these esoteric things for so long, and I would get stuff, but I wasn't getting that, where I could like just call myself an open channel. And I still have work to do. However, it's just coming in really powerfully, really strong all of the time. And I want to make these videos too, because people don't really share about the opposite side. So this morning, it was hard for me to even like get ready and go. I know I'm looking all bright and cheery now, and I am. I feel so grounded right now. I feel so like connected. I feel so good. But this morning, I was just like, and it's really interesting, because what I'm experiencing, like when I said Jesus was in the car with me, it's not just, oh, I got a channeled message from Jesus. Like, I felt his presence viscerally with me. And that is a kind of awe that is really hard to even like accept, and just to feel like the fullness of that in your nervous system is overwhelming. So what's really interesting right now is I might have said this in the last video, and I try not to repeat, but I forget sometimes what I share and what I don't. But like, I am feeling intense joy, like bliss, elation, love like I've never experienced before, gratitude like I've never experienced before. I am experiencing all of the beauty and magic that a human being can experience on earth. And at the very same time, with all of that, I'm also experiencing intense grief, rage that wants to be released from past lifetimes of persecution. People aren't meeting me, and I feel sad, like I'm losing, not really losing friendships, but realizing that some people I can't really move forward with per se. There's like this low grade like depression. There's a part of me that like wants to go back in time before all of this happened, where it was just so safe. And it's not that I'm not safe. It's not that I'm in danger. It's just that this is so expansive, so overwhelming, so galactic, so multi-verse of like beings that we didn't know even existed. It's incredible. I mean, I'm like, who am I supposed to channel? Who am I supposed to channel? And they're like, you can actually channel anyone. However, with discernment, there are some that you don't need to channel. And so they've given me some names of beings I'm going to start channeling that have never been named on earth. Like it's like ancient, ancient stuff. I'm like, why am I able to access the Akashic records? I said this last time, and they're like, because you helped build them. So apparently, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out and wrap my mind around it. One second, I'm like, I'm just little me. I'm a little soccer mom driving my kids around to their practices. I'm just an American woman and, just a normal chick. And then the next moment, I'm like, I'm galactic. I'm a star seed. I'm an alien who knows all the secrets of the universe. And I'm ancient. And then everything else in between at all times, at all hours of the day. So it's just really interesting to experience the highest highs of emotions that I didn't even know were possible or have never experienced, and feeling the worst, heaviest emotions all at the same time. So right now I'm like a roller coaster. That's why yesterday I'm crying. Today I'm happy. The day before the crying, I was happy. I am like this, up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And thank God my boyfriend is so grounding. I am just falling more in love with him every day, because accessing these Akashic records, I'm now able to because I have his permission, I can access things about his soul. And he also is part of the Galactic Council, even though he's still a little sleepy. And I had this vision the other night and I saw his dragon. He's got this purple blue dragon, and it was curled up, sleeping next to him. And I was like, oh, hey there, I see you. And the dragon kind of did this thing, I see you too, and then went back to sleep. So we made contact, and we were both psychically, we are like, okay, he's waking up, but he needs time, and he's good. And I found out that in that life, my boyfriend was my best friend and my confidant, but we weren't intimate, because that dragon life, there were just dragons and there was so much magic, and we were so contained and full within our own selves that we didn't need union with another to feel that connection or that wholeness or to procreate. It was really interesting. So anyway, he was so sweet, because I was crying and crying and crying yesterday, and I was sitting out in the dock just crying, and he comes out with a guitar because he's learning this really amazing Metallica song, but it's nothing else matters, but it's all instrumental. So good for Shavasana at the end of the yoga class. So we're gonna do a yin, and he does massage. He massages people while I teach the yin and restorative yoga. Then he's gonna play that at the end. But I was just I'm so grateful for you. You are so you are so grounding. I just cannot tell you how much I appreciate you. And you know what he said? He's so humble. He does not talk like about himself. And he just said, I am the earth. I was like, oh my God, you really are. He is so grounded, and he is such a protector and anchor. And I just am loving what's happening in that. But even that is overwhelming. Love, to truly love someone is terrifying and overwhelming. So anyway, I think I'm about done, because I'm not trying to make one of these every single day. Part of this is I just thought, maybe one day my children will want to look back at me. See, I'm getting emotional. Maybe one day when I'm gone off this earth plane, they'll want to go back and see what their mom was doing. in the 40s because they're witnessing and they're watching. All four of my children are golden wave children. So they're the group of souls to co-create the new earth that come after the 300 and the 2000 and whatever. And they're very special and they're very tuned and they're very awake. And you've heard me say it, you know, two of them were able to remember before they were born and they were able to tell me in great detail. They are veil walkers, the ones that bridge the worlds and kind of remember, kind of don't. And then my other two sons chose amnesia, like myself, which is a self-realized path from the inside. It's self-realized. And it's not that one is better than or less than, but the people who choose the amnesia, you're really choosing. I don't like because it's not deeper than, it's not better than, so it's actually kind of hard to describe, but in some ways they're choosing a deeper path to come into this life with full amnesia and to be self realized. So it's really, really interesting that two of my children are veil walkers, and they called the other two an anchor and an alchemist. Um, it's just so fascinating. And like all of these things are rabbit holes that I plan to start working on. You know, if you're in my circle group, you're seeing me post pretty much daily. I'm open to people's group questions. If you have private questions, I do sessions for you. Like one question is $11. So there's something for everybody there. And even if you just ask one question, it's not just, oh, here's your 2 sentence answer. It's like, this is why this is happening. This is what's happening. This is what's happening around what's happening. This is how you shift, fix, or change that. And here are also some like ceremonies and like actual action steps to do to get to where you want to be. And it, you know, it's not like your questions have to be like a problem, but a lot of people need healing, right? So you could ask like just what is my best career path and how do I step into that? You can ask, why am I struggling with this physical issue and what do I do to heal it? It doesn't even have to be a question. You could just say, I'm looking for guidance around my love life and, you know, how to meet the right partner, you know? And so look out for that. But they're just absolutely amazing and life changing, all the things that I offer. So check that out. But yeah, it's an interesting, my kids, just circling back to that, that they're looking at me different now. You know, I'm talking about it, and it's so cute. My one son, Finn, he's just so precious. And I can tell he's starting to like, he's in the group, you know, in the Facebook chat group, and he's like, Mom, and people are having some interesting conversations. But they come, you know, they come home and I just see them, they're kind of looking at me, and they're just a little bit more like this, like kind of scanning me, checking me out, seeing what I got going on today. But they're all just so like aware, and they're just so freaking magical. And if you're a spiritual person, you're watching this, your kids are probably part of this as well. And even if they're not a golden wave child, again, that is not special. That group are the co-creators of the new earth. That doesn't mean that that role is more important than any other soul role, because there's other groups and all kinds of things that they have to discover. And that's what I meant. That's what I was getting to, is like, not only am I making posts every day on the circle, but I plan to start putting out blogs, and then, you know, these are going to turn into books. And now I'm feeling all these little micro trainings need to come out. Like I feel like I need to create a training around money. Like spiritual people really struggle with accepting money for giving their sessions. There's a whole very old school of thought that it's not okay to accept money for these things. So I feel like that's a whole training, like just self-worth and shifting beliefs and how to accept and receive karmically, and how important the exchange is. So I'm just feeling there's just like so much to move forward. So many projects, so many trainings, so many books. I've got to start getting out there and talking to people. And I've also discovered this like 2000 group. They tend to be more of like the spiritually famous people. So now I'm recognizing all of these people that I've like followed or watched or know who they are. They're part of this group. And I've had a vision of this reconvergence. So this like kind of Burning Man, like gathering, much smaller scale, much more powerful and potent. But I'm talking about some famous spiritual musicians, like some of the people you're seeing on Gaia, some of the biggest followings that you might find on YouTube if they're in the spiritual realms. They're all part of this like co-creation of the new earth. And if we all come together in a reconvergence, I sense that it's like 3 or 5 years out in the future. Do you know what we can do for the earth when we gather? It's powerful, and I feel it, and I'm excited about it. So again, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for following along. Thank you, because even if you're watching this and I never actually come into like direct contact with you, your energy is still here. Your energy is still connecting with mine. You are still receiving activations through my voice and through my words and through my eyes. And I receive from that too. Uh, Time doesn't exist. There is no past or future. So even if you see this video 2 years from now, it's all happening now. And you are helping support me as I'm helping to support you. And we are all together as one. Thank you again so much. And I just look so forward to all that is meant to come through. Blessings.